Okay, give me just a second here. It is Wednesday night, peak of the week, keeping an eye on what's happening with the weather situation here. And give me a second to get Twitch going so that we know that everybody's on board. This is our nightly video weather blog, giving you the opportunity to ask questions about what's going on with the weather. Grateful to be able to be in front of you to let you know a little bit more about what's happening out there. This is just our opportunity to sit down and chat a little bit. During a regular weathercast, you get about 3 minutes, if you're lucky, to talk about what's going on, and you tend to throw in a lot of information. But when it comes to being able to sit down in this format, we have the opportunity to kind of be a little bit more personal, a little bit more detailed about things. So if you're joining us on Facebook, thank you very much for joining us. If you're brand new on Twitch and searching us out and finding our video weather blog there, this is not exactly going to be your more zippy type of podcast that you will see on Twitch. It's all about weather, meteorology, science communication, things like that. We come to you from Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the United States, and this is, again, our opportunity to sit down and talk about weather from News 12 in downtown Chattanooga. Our website at wdef.com/weather if you'd like to follow along there with the forecast or whatever else that we are able to offer in the way of news, sports, and other community events. Wish we had some better news on the forecast for our area. We're not as bad off as a lot of the rest of the country, and we'll show you why coming up in just a little while, considering we've got numerous heat advisories, number one, and number two, we've got excessive heat warnings in effect well to our north, west, and south. But we do not have anything in the way of major heat problems here. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It is very humid. It's very hot. But we're not seeing anything, again, in the way of major amounts of terrible heat for the area. So some good news at that. Okay, it looks like our Twitch signal is holding steady. Wanted to make certain that everything's ready there. So let's go ahead and jump into the details as to what's going on. Taking a look at the Almanac page first. Oh, and by the way, we've got a new webcam to tell you about. You can see that coming up here in just a little bit. 95 was our high temperature today, one of the hottest days of the year so far. We're still ahead for the month by a little bit and behind for the year by an almost equal amount. So we could use some more rainfall. That's not going to be happening anytime soon. Maybe the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms coming up tomorrow, but that's about it. Record high hasn't been broken since 2007, and a record low temperature, 50 degrees below that, hasn't been broken since 1956. And when you get down to this, when the temperatures on your record lows are in the mid 50s, you know that you have got to be in the peak of summertime out there, because that doesn't feel even cool to me, lukewarmish cool, somewhere in that area, and we're just not seeing anything in the way of frost or anything anytime soon. Sunrise will be tomorrow morning. Sunrises are getting later and later, and sunsets are getting earlier and earlier. We've lost about 15 minutes of daylight in the last couple of weeks. So we will be seeing sunrise tomorrow at 7:08 a.m. and sunset tomorrow night at 8:19. Moon is at 57%, waxing gibbous. That's just past the first quarter stage, but not quite full. The moon will be rising tomorrow afternoon after the sun, following that at 2:59 p.m., and it'll be setting tonight after midnight. From today's rising, it'll be setting after midnight. That's where there's no marker here. We're going toward full moon at the end of the month in just about another 8 days or so, and that'll be the second full moon we've had in the month, which makes it not only a super moon, it's a little bit bigger than the regular moon because of the position of the Earth and the moon next to each other, a little bit closer, so the moon is a little bit larger, and it's also going to be a blue moon, 2 full moons in 1 month. That makes it what's called a blue moon. The moon won't be colored blue. It's just a nickname of sorts to be able to take a look and see what's going on there. If you ever feel like you're being monitored, Sometimes that feeling kind of pans out by just a little bit. Thanking Lupton Winningham for a nice view of Scout the Cat outside looking in. That's our West Shore home weather window. Picture of the day for Wednesday. Thank you very much, Lupton and Scout, for our picture for the day. Again, looking out towards some fairly cool conditions. That was shot in February, as I understand it. Pictures at WDEF.com. And again, you can email the pictures to us or drop them to our social media pages in the comments section. Please give us a descriptor of what you are looking at, where, city, state, country type situation. But if you want to remain anonymous, that's fine too. So go ahead and give us a shout on that. For our brand new webcam, just functional today, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Total Speedies Car Care webcam from the Chattanooga Theater Center across the river in around the North Shore area, looking back down toward the park area. Beautiful sunset tonight. We'll try to get a time lapse going here in just a little while, but thank you very much, Total Speedies Car Care, for being a sponsor, and the Chattanooga Theater Center for getting this camera up on your property. Let's take a spin around the area and see what's going on where it comes to viewpoints out there. Still that haziness in the sky. We still see, again, a lot of that wildfire smoke and pollution sticking around. Traffic on I-75 and I-24 moving along quite nicely. A few clouds out and about into and around the area of Island Cove Marina and Resort. All of these on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. Everybody say hello to Sylvester the Spider hanging out on the other side of the screen there. From our opposite view from downtown Chattanooga, looking back to where Sunset was located a little while ago. Beautiful view there, looking off toward Lookout Mountain, just out of view on the left-hand side of the screen. And taking a look toward Lee Point, Highway 153 on the Plainview outdoor advertising webcam from Highway 153 and 64. Finally, from the veterans-owned Patriot Concrete camera, the northwestern slope of Lookout Mountain, just barely visible there, and also a beautiful view tonight of sunset. We'll try to get a time lapse going on that and post it on social media a little later. Temperatures in the mid 80s. Dew point temperatures, a much better way of describing what's going on where it comes to atmospheric moisture into and around the area. So again, very much on the humid side for right now. If we were in the 50, 60 degree range, that would be a lot more comfortable. When you start getting into the lower 70 degree range, that is very much on the sultry side, a lot more difficult for the sweat to leap off your skin and cool you off by evaporation. If there's more water vapor in the air, it's very hard for that moisture to evaporate. If it's very dry, then it's very easy for the sweat to evaporate and take some of that body heat with it. But as of right now, we're just not seeing anything in the way of good amounts of dry air out there. Regional temperatures coming up on 10 o'clock Eastern in just a few minutes, upper 70s to mid to upper 80s, a few upper 80s back around parts of northeast Alabama, and that's partly why the heat advisory has been issued for that particular area. More on that in just a little bit. Dew point temperatures, again, if you're down into around the 50, 60 degree range, the basic idea is if you saw the air temperatures we just showed you, say about 85 degrees. Now you take a dew point of 71, and that's very close to where the temperature is. So that is not much space in between there. This is the temperature of the atmosphere totally saturated. So if the temperature were to drop to about 71, you would see a lot more humidity. There'd be about 100% humidity out there. But you're also seeing, again, when you get down to like the 50, 60 degree range, if the temperature is about 85 and the dew point is 55, that's a very big amount of area between those temperature readings, and therefore it's a lot drier because the dew point temperature is much lower. So this is a better way of describing how saturated the atmosphere is. A nice little way to be able to kind of take a look at some of that out there. So interesting more way. I prefer it more than anything involving humidity. Jeff Peterson going to watch the Crew 8 launch Friday morning. Probably not like baseball or anything in the way of award shows. I'll probably just open the paper in the morning, so to speak, and then see what goes on there. I would love to stay around and do so, but this has been a very busy day, and I need my beauty sleep, so I'm probably not going to be tuning in for it, but we'll post some more information about that. But thank you for reminding me about that so that we can post more details coming up on that. I forgot to mention again, anything in the way of questions, concerns, ideas about weather or otherwise, please drop them to the stream chat on Twitch TV or drop them into the comments section on Facebook Live, and we'll be glad to answer any questions. And whatever we don't know, we'll be glad to try to make certain that we find the answer for you somehow out there. I don't know. It's nothing to be ashamed of not finding out because you don't want others to find out that you didn't know something. That's ridiculous and kind of on the stupid side. Finding things out, asking questions, getting out there and finding out what's going on, that's your best bet. So it's always great to be able to learn something on things like that. So for Thursday, poor conditions according to the website. Light and variable winds early, then winds out of the northeast at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Mostly sunny, hot, and humid. Again, for anything involving hiking, fishing, boating, whatever you're going out there for. And the same thing applies right now to going out and avoiding the gophers if you're going to be out and about on the golf course. Not great news here. Mostly sunny, regular air temperatures in the mid-90s. Heat index where you get the temperature and that dew point combination to make a feels like index. It's going to feel around 105 degrees throughout much of the afternoon coming up tomorrow. And that's, again, not great news. The good news is that we do not have, at this time, any amounts of heat advisories for the entire News 12 viewing area except for northeastern Alabama. So if you're around Scottsboro, east of Huntsville, northeast Alabama, that is where you are seeing the potential for the hottest weather tomorrow. This is where heat index numbers could top 105 degrees or at least be around that particular area. Now, hotter than that, again, the heat advisories in the orange shaded counties, some new ones being issued down toward Montgomery, in the pink shaded counties, and just issued for the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and also for parts of Alabama and Mississippi. Those pink counties are an excessive heat warning, and that is for, again, the orange counties for heat advisories. That is where you find the heat index going to about 105 degrees. In the excessive heat warning categories, that's from 105 to 110 plus. So we're talking about some dangerous temperatures from the Gulf all the way up into the Dakotas and Minnesota and the Great Lakes. So we're talking about some brutally hot weather for a good swath of the midsection of the country, from the Ohio River Valley all the way out into parts of the Great Plains. And that does include, again, some parts of the Mid-South, and now back down into around portions of northwestern, west central parts of Alabama. We'll be keeping our eyes on this. If you have any plans for being outdoors at any point in time, take the extra canister of water along. Again, this would not be a bad idea to have some extra stuff out there. Even if you're not thirsty, drink as much water as you can when you're out and about, just to put back that water that your body sweats away. Also, leave the pets at home. The dogs, the cats, whatever you're taking out there, do not bring them out there to leave them in anything in the way of a vehicle. Temperatures in a vehicle can soar well over 150, 180 degrees in full sunshine in just a few minutes, about maybe 30 minutes or so, and that can be lethal. And remember, they're the ones wearing the fur coat. You're not. So please remember, leave them at home, leave them in the air conditioning. If they're outdoor pets, make certain they have shelter away from the heat, plenty of fresh water, and shelter, again, adequate shelter. That could be the difference between a misdemeanor charge of animal neglect or animal cruelty on your part for not planning ahead for your pets. And animal neglect and animal cruelty are at least misdemeanor crimes in all 50 states. So please keep that in mind, just to be on the safe side, because until this heat goes away, it's going to be difficult out there for the dogs and the cats and anything else out there to be outdoors for longer periods of time. All right, this heat is making me sweat sitting here talking about this, so let's go ahead and get into what's going on on the maps. The warm front, again, that we've been watching now from the Great Lakes over to just the east of us, that's that warm air pushing its way back over to the East Coast states from the desert Southwest. There is a possibility that we may see less in the way of heat coming up, and we'll talk more about that in just a little while. Running the numbers, this is where it gets interesting into tomorrow. First of all, the low temperatures, not that low, lower to mid-70s. Then, by tomorrow afternoon, when you have a broad area of high pressure where nothing is going on, sometimes the computer models can get a little bit too gung-ho, to be able to coin a phrase, to use that. It can get a little bit more overblown, I guess I should say, to be honest on here. The computer models here, this is not as bad as it was about 12 hours ago, but the computer models are throwing in tomorrow morning some isolated scattered showers and thunderstorms. Taking a look at several other computer models that do not have this on there, including the National Weather Service from Morristown, which covers this area. They're saying a better potential of showers and thunderstorms. Knoxville, Asheville, northeast of Atlanta. We might catch some stray activity, but it really does not look like the outbreak that this is going to be like. So for right now, I doubt that we're going to be seeing too much of anything in the way outside of maybe, and this is a very big maybe, a few hit and miss showers and thunderstorms out there. Those could travel through right around rush hour if there are enough of them. Again, confidence is not high on this delivery of rainfall at this point. Now, toward early areas of Friday morning, another round of showers and thunderstorms develops, coming down from the north and affecting extreme northeastern Tennessee. Some of that makes its way into the area. Notice right about in through here, we've got that sort of backwards C shape. It looks like a possible impulse, not exactly an outflow boundary, but close, moving out of the area. And anything behind this, this is where the front may deliver the possibility of some showers and thunderstorms out there, but it's not going to help, especially during the rest of the day. So by pregame for Friday football, it looks to be very hot starting things off, and numbers toward about halftime or so might make their way into the mid to upper 80s, but not much more than that. And there's that other chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Again, I'm not seeing it in any of the other computer models. None of the National Weather Service forecasts that cover this area are mentioning it. It could happen. There's no question about that. I just don't see it as being likely, but we'll keep our eyes on the radar in the next couple of days, and we'll let you know about that. For Saturday, temperatures, again, back in the mid-90s. A few clouds and maybe some showers and thunderstorms developing back to our east, but that's really going to be about it. For the next 6 to 10 days, more medium right down the middle, chances of showers and thunderstorms, much drier into the Midwest. Not great news there. Here's the good news. If everything works in the next few days, and I'm talking toward the end of August and the beginning of September, that is where we may see the potential of more moderate temperatures. Not saying cooler. That might happen up around the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence Seaway, but I just don't see much of anything else really happening here. So in the way of very much nicer autumn-like temperatures, that does not appear to be a thing. Hopefully that would be nice, but it just doesn't seem to be happening for right now. So good news again for now that we'll be turning the temperatures down a little bit. Here's what it looks like on the 7-day forecast, and what we're seeing for now is those hotter weather conditions continuing into around the area of midweek, or at least the weekend, I should say. Mid to upper 90s for Saturday and Sunday. And then as we get toward the end of August, early parts of September, that is where we may see some more problems out there. We're about, September begins next Thursday, so just after this is as we go from August into September is where we may catch just a bit of a break out there. So some hopefully good news on that. We'll see how well that pans out. I'm really, really hopeful about this because the computer models here and the 6 to 10 day forecast we just showed you, that also showing a little bit of a downturn in temperatures there. Jeff Peterson, that's a very good quote from your meteorology profession, and that's our professor, and that is something that I try to take out to any students in any classroom that I talk about, that again, it's the best thing. You can just ask a question. At least you're asking. The person who's holding it back is not going to find out because they didn't dare to raise their hand and ask a question. So good news on that. David Harmon, welcome from the Memphis area. And I've seen the temperatures over in that direction. It's not nice, and you're back under those excessive heat warnings, so please stay cool over in that area. Once again, if you're just joining us on Twitch TV or Facebook Live, say hello, drop a comment into the chat section or stream chat on Twitch or the comments section on Facebook, and we'll be glad to see what we can do about saying hello to you here. There's sort of a lag time. I don't quite understand why, but we'll get your comments eventually. They'll just turn up in various strange places, the way these chat things work. Best possibility of rainfall now will be Sunday, Monday afternoon and evenings, and possibly early Tuesday morning. Tuesday looks to have the best chance of anything involving showers or thunderstorms coming up. It's not a great chance. We're talking 40, 50%, something like that. So not a great deal of coverage, but at least it's the best that we have seen in quite some time. More on the forecast, again, you can always check it out at wdef.com/weather. Heading into tomorrow for the Greater Chattanooga Orthodontics bus stop forecast for Thursday. Not much changing here. Mild, call it that if you wish, maybe a little bit humid and muggy to start things off for Thursday morning. And dismissal time, again, the hottest part of the day when those after-school extracurricular activities take place. That's going to be some very steamy conditions out there, especially in full sunshine. So anything involving outdoor activities, the coaches, the teachers, whoever else are monitoring stuff like that, please use a lot of vision on the kids and the students and whoever's working or exercising out there. A lot of breaks, a lot of water breaks. Get back inside, let people cool off. You don't have to do all of practice in one try, which is pretty much what we did at football back at KU in the mid to late 80s during two-a-days at this time of the year, and it was not incredibly fun, unfortunately, standing out there as an athletic trainer. All right, into the tropics, quick check of what's going on, and Tropical Storm Franklin is about the strongest example we have, now launching itself off of the Dominican Republic and heading north into parts of the eastern Caribbean. It looks like for right now, this system is going to kind of wobble a little bit. It's taking a bit of a dogleg turn out to the east and then heading back to the north. That little black dot up there, that's Bermuda. So it looks like Bermuda may get another close shave from this particular storm. And it looks like right now there's also the possibility that this could become a Category 1 hurricane. It looks like Friday afternoon, so that's something we may need to monitor there. It does not appear to be a threat to the continental United States at this time, but if it does start to wobble back that direction, we'll let you know about that. Anything else going on out there? Yes, actually, what's left of Emily? I know Emily Casula was disappointed, but there is a possibility that Tropical Storm Emily now is a tropical storm again. This could regenerate a little bit before it heads into those colder waters. Post-tropical storm Gert wandering toward the Leeward Islands is just a disorganized mess, and another disturbance off the coast of Africa. This one has about 30% chance of developing in the next several days, and that's for the Atlantic right there, decently busy, and we're approaching the peak of hurricane season, so we may get decently close to some more storms here in the next couple of weeks, so now is the time to pay closer attention. Switching oceans out into the Pacific, one area, a moderate threat of development, but this one will be more of a threat to Hawaii if it holds together in the next couple of weeks. This one, if you remember about a week ago, we were telling you about Hurricane Hillary, which skirted up toward the Baja Peninsula and over the desert southwest. We've got another system out here, a high risk of development, and this one looks like it's also going to be hugging the coastline. Now, we're not saying anything about this being a repeat performance of Hurricane Hillary, but there is that possibility that it's going to go similar to that path, and that's why, again, if you're heading to LA, San Diego, or Southern California, or the desert southwest area, that is something that you're really going to have to watch as this system develops. This could become a tropical storm tonight or early tomorrow, and then as we go into the next several days, that's some very warm water that storm has to traverse, so this could develop very quickly out there. we may have another hurricane coming up in the eastern Pacific, which could be causing some more problems out there. So definitely want to stay tuned for more information on that. Teachers, administrators, again, asking that if you'd like to have us appear as your weather experts in the classroom, we'd be glad to, but there's schedules to consider. There's severe weather to consider. There's your schedules as teachers to consider. We just don't show up. You have to invite us. So in order to do so, please go to the News 12 Food City Weather in the Classroom program and fill out the form to let people know, to let us know when the best time frame would be for us to visit, and we'll cross-connect on our schedule to get something set up. The big problem is that a lot of teachers wait until about fall break and then start making requests for their weather units. At that point in time, it may be too late, and we may not be able to visit you until spring semester, January 24 or afterwards. So right now, if you have a request, great, let us know. Go to the website, fill out the form, and send it in to us, and we'll get back with you as soon as we possibly can. And again, we will try to be as accommodating as possible, but it'd be better if you'd like to have us attend. First come, first serve. So if you have the opportunity to do so, please let us know by going to the website and filling out the details on that. And imploring you again, if you don't have your weather radio programmed, please do so. Please make certain that you have that taken care of, and we can help you do that at wdef.com. If you'd like to know a little bit more about that, just go to our website, and we'd be glad to help you out on that if at all possible on there. I have to think, give me just 2 seconds here. I forgot this over this direction. Live action webcasting, it happens that way. About a month or so ago, I had the opportunity to let people know, and this is something that I like to do since I'm an amateur radio operator. I like to be able to talk about amateur radio and how cool a hobby it is and how you can get involved with it. I had the opportunity to talk about the McMinnville Amateur Radio Club, or McMinn County, that is just east of Chattanooga and Hamilton County. They had their Ham Fest just about a month or so ago, and I'd really like to thank the prime members of the McMinn County Amateur Radio Club for sending along. Let's see if I can get the reflection in there. That nice thank you card on that. Thank you very much. Darius Goforth, Sid Averett, hope I'm saying that right, Jay Chan Patrick, and Michael Elkins, President, Vice President, Secretary, and Treasurer of the McMinn County Amateur Radio Club. Thank you very much. You didn't have to do this. It's very nice. Nice to be able to do that. It's just nice to be able to talk about amateur radio, hoping to talk up the hobby as much as possible. But thank you very much. That's very kind of you guys in McMinn County to send that along on there. I'll be on News 12 at 11 for an update of the forecast and to get you into Thursday morning. Chip Chapman will have more details about the forecast coming up bright and early Thursday morning at 5 a.m. And of course, always you can get our detailed forecast available at wdef.com/weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek from the News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee, USA. Thanks for joining us for Thursday night's edition of our Weatherblog, exclusive video weather blog, Weather Overtime. And stay tuned for much more with News 12 on air and online through the rest of the week and into this weekend. And let's stay cool out there.